What it do, fam? This your boy D Rose of the Supremely Black Podcast. Appreciate y'all tapping in today. We're gonna get right into it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment below, and if you're really rocking with the content, make sure that you subscribe. Let's go ahead and talk about it, man. I've had enough people hit me up about the Russell Westbrook situation or how he was dressed. So let's just talk about it, man. For me, my thoughts on it. Just thinking about who he is as a basketball player. He's from California, born and raised. From my understanding, he grew up in the Crenshaw district, the Crenshaw area. He does have a knack for fashion, but I would say in regards to this, I just wonder of what really transpired for it to take the fashion to this particular level. So just to really answer the question, I do think this is a little bit, this is too much. The skirt is like, come on, bro. I was sitting there watching it and looking at the show or whatever, and I'm seeing a couple of the pictures and stuff get to coming out, and I'm like, I understand he's going to a fashion show, but I'm like, come on, Russell, bro. Just, it shocked the hell out of me because I'm used to seeing the one that's ready to damn near fight on the basketball court and ready to, barking back and forth, real passionate about the game. And I get that you like to dress, but I just think that this right here was too far, my boy. Like, we need you to go on and bring that back in. That's just not the Russell Westbrook that we're used to seeing. Definitely not me, and I like dressing myself, but I would never do the whole skirt thing with the open top, looking like, you know what I'm saying, somebody, favorite dressed auntie. So come on, dog, you lost me with that one, homie. But just to address like some of the things that have been brought to mind, and my thought process on it is, I know he's LA born and raised. I get it. A hell of a basketball player, maybe considered as one of the top 5 point guards of all time. Has all the accolades. Huge to the kids. A lot of people love the way he plays and just what he represents. And again, from being from the Crenshaw area, that speaks for enough. But what really gets me is that I wonder, what about this particular culture has a weird fantasy of seeing men, black men, dressed in dresses and skirts? It's like, it makes me wonder, it's where are we at now in society to where that's just a very, very weird thing, is that a black man being in a dress or a skirt is considered either fashionable or hilarious to them. And I just think that there is something on that other side of Hollywood and the celebrity that they have a weird fascination with. And my issue or concern is, it is not that it's not fashionable. It's just not for us as a culture. And I say that in the space of, if that's the way that you choose to dress, and that's completely fine, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But here's this is where it conflicts, is that you have this demeanor, you have this approach, you have this area and the section that you've always bragged about coming from, and that's what you uphold, right? You're from the Crenshaw district, and I'm all about the evolution part of it, right? But when you think about those same kids that may want to grow up to be Russell Westbrook, and they see the way you play, they honor the way you play, just like I do, and people that even brought this up has always admired the dog that you have in you. But when you think about what that picture represents in its entirety, I've never, in any hood that I've ever been in, seen anyone dressed in a kilt skirt representing the culture, no matter how fashionable they are. And to me, it was just very shocking to take fashion that far, because when you look at it from our perspective that have looked at you as the person that was very upstanding and made it out the hood and has the dream story that everybody would love to tell, is that the person made it out of the inner city, went to college, made it to the NBA, made it to the NFL, etc. However you want to connect it, it's always an inspiring story because there's another kid. There's always someone that looks up to you and with the things that you've actually accomplished. And to me, this right here sends the wrong message, because if I'm taking myself back to the 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old impressionable me, I don't know where this lands me. And I know for a fact when I look at this particular picture, it does not scream out to me without knowing you that it's fashionable. It screams out to me that it could be very conflicting and very confusing to people that may idolize you. And you have that exposure to be an idol to kids and even young adults that haven't really found themselves or found their purpose. I just don't think for anyone with an hour that has an influence that are strong black men, in a sense of you understand what your image, how important your image is to our culture. And I mean that by saying this, I'm all about the growth, I'm all about the getting out of the hood. But what we have to be very, very mindful of is that what image are we portraying to the youth? There's several different ways that you could have matched that up and did it fashionably. I just want to know, fire your fashion people, fire anybody that influenced you to think that was right, the right way to go about that. Because at the end of the day, bro, I'm just going to keep it real with everybody that's watching this. When we think of Russell Westbrook, that's not how we vision you. We've never seen that in any hood. We don't see that. We've never seen men in dresses and skirts in the hood, because nobody in those neighborhoods, in those environments, is going to think that that's funny. If you are dressed to that part, that's because that's the lifestyle that you've chosen to live, which by all means you do your thing, right? But to be a hetero man and dressed in skirts and dresses, it didn't get me. And I do apologize. I'm just a little lost for words. I even have to touch this. But just to get back to the original point, is that we have to be mindful of the images that we are portraying to the youth, because he who controls images controls minds. And that doesn't push any particular lifestyle or bash any lifestyle, but just the God honest truth is that when we get to that particular level of influence and exposure, we must understand that it's bigger than us. So we have to take the correct steps to make sure that even though that we've evolved from our standings of growing up in the hood, Section 8 living, project living, etc., we still have people that are looking up to us. And then when you think about that, it's what would this look like to them if there's nothing that I could actually say that was a message tied to it. I'm just thinking about the youth at this particular point of how that reaches to them. I think it's very conflicting. This is a particular time that we need everybody to stand up, men within our society, to show that the right direction, and it's going to be important with things that we put out, images for sure, because we all know that we're in an era where we scroll past a lot of different things and we double tap buttons. But we also want to make sure that as they're doing so, that they're actually getting a piece of us that represents where we come from, so that you don't disconnect from your actual neighborhood. But I would definitely love to hear you all's thoughts on the fashion statement that Russell Westbrook had stated. Give me your real raw thoughts in regards to it. Make sure that you comment below. Make sure that you like. Make sure that you share this. This is a message that I think should really get out, and it's a very important conversation to understand of like what image or what impact that this actually have within our community. And if you're really rocking with the content, subscribe. To the queens out there, put your crown on to the side, salute. To the kings out there, put your crown on to the side and salute. It's your boy D Rose again of the Supremely Black Podcast.